Welcome back, you fellas, you gals, anyone tuning in and watching right now. We find ourselves in the ace match of this best of 3. Someone's gonna have to go down here. Let's see who it's gonna be. Spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map. Hopefully not the purple Protoss from property Starnan. And also, hopefully not his opponent in the top right. His green is Terran, represents alien invasion, Lillekanin. Now, of course, by hopefully not, it kind of sucks. I like both of these players, guys. This isn't like some caster BS where you're like, oh, you know, chances are, 40-80 or tasteless. I don't know if it's good. No, it's a situation where Starnan's a not bad player, Lillekanin's a not bad player. I don't think either of these guys are going to win a DreamHack, but they've got a lot of good games still ahead of them. So best of luck, and may the best man actually win here in this final game, in this last game for this best of 3. Now we got the gas coming out very early for the Lillekanin. Probably a faster factory, as we've seen twice in a row now. I just hit my hand on my desk and it hurts so badly, but the pain woke me up a little bit, so do I like that? Is that my thing now? Quit hitting yourself, quit hitting yourself. Quit being a junkie for pain, Rifkin. A masochist, if you will. We're gonna use grown-up terms and phrases. But, no, all silliness aside, chances are we're going to see a factory come out of Lillekanin. I liked his Widowmine harass a little bit more than his Hellions. It was a cool move, it was a great idea, and it certainly got a couple kills, and maybe caught Starnan a little bit off guard, but the thing with Lillekanin, as Nirox pointed out when he played against him earlier today, guys, once you know his tricks, it's not hard to learn how to play against him. So his first test if he sneaks on into the base. Biggest thing that I saw was the one gas. This is a very nice scout.
Your forces are under attack.
Talk about that more in a moment. Fast factory, as predicted, coming out of Lillekanin. The key thing to keep an eye on here next, of course, is going to be the gas count, because they'll determine whether there's going to be Banshees right away, or perhaps a little bit later on. Lillekanin's favorite spot of proxies over here, just fun fact. But patrolling for the time being, no actual engineering bay block. I mean, the NG bay block is fantastic if you can afford it. Chances are, though, if your build is crisp, if you're building exactly to plan and not cutting SCVs unnecessarily, you'll have no minerals to actually work with an engineering bay block. If you do, though, it buys you a lot of time. It wastes like a good 30 seconds trying to tear it down. You hit cancel, laugh in his face, have a jolly good time. Oh, I've been there, done that. But the factory finishes up here in a moment. Bloody Black asking, is there a constriction to countries you can send the t-shirts? Not yet, I think is a better way to phrase that, rather than no. Because there's probably a country, I don't know. Maybe they don't ship to Afghanistan, hell if I know. Starport though coming up here, no second gas, so just probably going to be the medevac once again for the Widowmine drops. I think it worked out pretty nicely. The Widowmines, they're, well, part of my phrasing, a very volatile unit to deal with. Not because of the explosive payload that they carry, but because they'll one-shot most units, regardless of the splash damage. But you can't disregard the splash damage. It deals so freaking much. Actually, Widowmines are pretty much solely and entirely responsible for the meta shift of the game. Once upon a time, we saw charge lots and storms non-stop out of every Protoss player, every single game, every single time. And it was the way to play for a while. Widowmines got that little bit of a buff. Suddenly they're a million times better against Zealots. What do you know? Strategy that involves primarily charge lots, not so good anymore. The Storm's alright kind of too, but not the biggest focus of it. Anyway, 6 Marines, 1 Widowmine. Perfect setup for this drop, and he's going to expand behind it too. This magnificent son of a gun. So of course the one that's burrowed over here early, guys, the idea is like if it does catch something moving out, A, it kills it, but B, it'll probably be off cooldown by around the time the attack starts. I wouldn't say like for surezies, but Starnan once again with a very early robo facility, he'll be able to get that observer out. The stealth part of this shouldn't be such a big issue. But we saw in game number 1, Lillekanin's control of his Marines, he only needs like 1 or 3 Marines to really do a serious amount of damage. But double burrow at the ramp, interesting. Forces out the force field. Oh my god, he may go chase some Mothership Core. Realizing that his life may have been in danger, he actually activates the overcharge. This is not a bad idea, and I kind of agree with it. The Observer's out though, and the Widowmines aren't going to get a lot more damage done. It's such a hard decision to make. I almost think like sacrificing the Marines may have been worth it, but actually chooses to circumvent everything entirely, goes back towards the main. Round 2. This Widowmine is going to be very curious to see how he places it. He can either use it to cover the Marines, who used to be annoying, or he can walk to the mineral line and deny a little bit of mining, not a whole lot. He as well knows that the Observer is out, due to the fact that he lost the other Widowmine. I don't feel like there's enough bunkers coming in at home, though. 1 is okay, but 1 is not going to stop 4 Blink Stalkers. Well, at least not Blink, but just Stalkers. Left side, still trying to get some drops off while this is happening, but the bus goes down, the tank falls very quickly, the bunker's soon to fall, and this is looking pretty rough for Lillekanin. Some more SCVs maybe in order to hold this, but he compromises the natural, the main, okay for the time being. But there's no full wall off, you can't just repair this all day versus 1 Zealot. He actually had to fall back. I feel like he's going the wrong way with the orbital. It's going to start burning in a sec. Because, you know, that's that Terran ingenuity. The Terran engineering coming into play. Like, alright guys, what do we do if a building suffers critical damage? We can either A, make it so it barely hangs on, so it lives to see another day until someone can get there to repair it, so we can fix it and preserve ourselves as a culture. Or B, we can make it so it burns on fucking fire and dies slowly, and there's nothing we can do about it if we're not in range. I mean, I hate Terran, seriously. We evolved to be really stupid creatures. I love Terran, don't get me wrong, playing it, I mean, but I'm just... We have so much friendly fire. We catch ourselves literally on fire with buildings. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Not to a species that's trying to survive, at least. But I guess if there's like a couple billion of you across many galaxies, not an issue. But we do have Banshees coming out for Lillekanin. Now, these are going to be fantastic as far as going forward goes, but right now he doesn't really have a lot of anything to fight with. This is why he's holed up in the main. Losing the command center, too, was a loss that he couldn't really afford. I almost think he's almost forced to go into an all-in this scenario, but like, what all-ins can you do? Terran players don't really have the same degree of like, alright, screw it, 7 gateways, 9 gateways, let's rock and roll. You can pull SCVs, you can try and get a little bit of brute force done, but chances are Lillekanin might just be out of this game. Although I do like the tank leapfrogging forward, they are dangerously in range of the Stalkers. They can just kind of blink forward, get underneath them. Actually, no, I take it back. No blink. I forgot. It's just regular Stalkers. Not used to seeing a Terran natural base be torn down by regular Stalkers. Not gonna lie. The Raven sadly doesn't have a lot of energy right now. Could throw an auto turret in the worst case scenario. Best case scenario saves up for point defense drone, of course. But Stalkers getting baited into a fight they really don't want to take. These suckers are getting low, and Lillekanin should be able to capitalize on this. Somebody's gonna die with like, well, the ones that don't die get away with almost no health, so they're gonna be pretty useless later on. But breaks the contain. Now I don't know if he'd even try and expand, quite frankly. At this point, it might just be the rally across the map, try and overwhelm before it's too late. A couple of SCVs are pulled with this, but this isn't like calling the boys. These are probably for repairing, if anything else, if nothing else, rather. Oh, this is awkward. Hello there. Alright, this entry goes down. Losing these Banshees, these are such a big utility unit. They not only cover the tanks, but their DPS are big enough to finish off units. If you didn't notice in that last fight, guys, a big part of why tanks suck is because there's often times where you'll get a unit down to like 5 health, but it will get away. It just barely doesn't have that extra damage to finish it off. And of course, you can't buff tank damage, because if you do, then it throws everything out of whack, blah, 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 blah. So, forced to deal with that. Lillekanin has a mediocre army here that I think has the potential to possibly, I want to say possibly take this on, but I don't even know. The longer he waits, the worse this gets. He's waiting for more tanks. He's waiting for his SCVs to come across the map, but he's playing off one pace. The clock is already ticking. The clock's ticking so hard. Now it's gonna be 4 mortals for just 5 tanks. 9 stalkers. The Raven's gonna be so nice, but the SCV buffer is gonna be the biggest thing he has going for him, and he didn't really pull a lot of SCVs into this. Alright, but defense room goes down. Stalkers forced to disengage from this particular location, as they can't attack, and if they do, nothing's gonna happen. There's still enough energy for an auto turret, possibly. This is where he really wanted the point defense run, though, because it soaks up the hits, of course, from the overcharged Nexus, but I don't know if he can break in here. I really don't think he can break in here. The siege tanks are in such a good spot, but I mean, this is all in Lillekanin, guys. Not because he pulled the SCVs, but because there's still no tech behind this. Because the production has nothing going for it other than units. Let's get some free hits, though. I like this. Trying to wait out for the overcharge. Not a bad idea, but if he goes in too soon, he loses his whole army. If he waits too long, he loses his whole army. But he finds some middle ground. He right-clicks all the SCVs onto the auto-repair feature, so Mothership Corps is actually just shelling away at tanks and SCVs, which are getting insured and repaired pretty quickly. Oh, sorry, share the production tab off. Oh my god, I can't at this point. Tanks are going to hammer away this Nexus. We'll see if he can get this. If he snipes this off, this puts his opponent back on one base as well, but Starnan has a fantastic army, guys. Look at the supply difference right now, 86 versus 114. But Lillekanin's got a slightly larger army supply due to the fact that he didn't have as many workers. We'll see if this pays off. Now, all he's got to do is pick off the Stalkers. If the Stalkers go down, the Cloaked Banshees can prevail. But the Immortals, oh god, those Immortals are just a little too strong. A DT on top of the tanks, and this looks like it's just about to be game. Now, granted, this is not going to stop the Banshees, but they don't have the DPS to wrap this game into one neat little package. However, if they start picking off the Immortals, the tank and the Marine might, ironically enough. A couple Stalkers are warped in, but really not a whole lot. Another Immortal does go down. So much for living up to his name. Oh, and behind this, oh god, behind this, a warp-in of DTs and Zealots. Got the main of Lillekanin. This is all in at this point. These are his last units remaining. As the Banshees run out of energy, the Observer sits on top of them. GG is going to be called. Ladies and gentlemen, Starnan will be your victor. And sadly, Lillekanin will now drop out of DreamHack. Love the back and forth, though. And this is the thing about StarCraft. I don't know about you guys, but this is like where my passion sort of ignites, so to speak. Like, when you find two players that are well matched for one another, those games are so enjoyable. Like, you can get the big names, sure, and the hot shots and your Jaedongs, but I use them for example all the time. I feel bad, but like, seriously, who wants to watch Jaedong curb stomp some kid who doesn't have a chance? You want to see a back and forth. You want to see that tug of war. You want to see some good StarCraft, and for me, that's what that was. So, thank you guys so much for joining me for it. I'm going to do my best to stick out the last best of 3 of the day, because fuck it, we've come so far. To quit now would be disgusting. So, taking a break. I'll see you guys for the last game, the last series in a few.